Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, we finished the summation examination, and we're actually accusing Miss Green of attempting to murder, Shams here. So yeah, let's see what's going on. She probably did it. Anyway, 23rd of February, 11:32 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendants Antechamber. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks!
Oh, Mr. Natsume, so pleased for you.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, and non-locum judicial assistant, Miss Mikitopa Esquires. Now, finally, at long last, there could be proof. Proof that I'm innocent, and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows.
Ah, airlock jobs! May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent.
Thought that he was innocent.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came! How wonderful!
Please save the derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very clearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly on your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. Truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought. Tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all on its own, does it not?
Oh, yes.
And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep, I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And an answer came to me at once. It was so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter?
Oh, yes.
Upon which realization, I attempted an experiment. I did not sleep a wink at all last night. And the results. By first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by a fit of drowsiness.
Shocking.
And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. What others presuppose I prove by experimentation, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. And yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this?
Ah!
Yes, of course, it's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to. Yeah, it was a laborious task, as the bottle was near empty. But such inconveniences do not hinder, Mr. Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contains strychnine. So I was right. Perhaps, though, of course, such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the insides of the neck is not recommended. Foul poison has been entered to the court record. Oh, could I have a word? Anyway, let's take a look at this. Aha, what? So this is the poison we've been hearing so much about, strychnine. There are a few remnants at the bottom of the bottle here, look.
Mustn't be tempted to try it.
Of course not, as long as we don't lose this trial.
No, not even. Even if we lose trial. Even if we lose the trial. No! We mustn't lose the trial in the first place, Mr. Rod.
Make your mind up, Sasato-san. That's it? Okay. Oh, could I have a word? Brixton, how good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look of your face, I'd say it's someone who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me.
Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamsier's room?
Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. A dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamsier's room?
Man by the name of, yes, Selden.
I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, caught my eye.
Something caught your eye? What, Inspector? What?
I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Thank you. Capital offender's file has been entered into the court record.
These documents.
Investigative findings related to Selden. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder, died of natural causes whilst in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. Condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester Strangeways Prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering from a fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out.
These documents. The details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamsfield's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have duplicate information.
Are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion.
Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful.
Indeed, my dear fellows, and the inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. Shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. No donning off at all, certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally, so the best of luck to you.
Welcome to it, Mr. Nard, Esquire!
Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamsphere. This is going to be the final battle. Okay, this better be the final part. I won't really have saved Soseki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to head now. You could do it, Ryunosuke. You have to. "23rd of February, 12:30 p.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious Eastern Shore. Thank you. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the Honorable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Sheets, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand? Ready and waiting in the witness antechamber, my lord. Yay. Very well, bailiff. Bring the witness in. Oh. You could kill him now. Witness, state your names and occupations for the court, please. William Shamsfire Malish. For mine occupation, I can only... that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words.
I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure. It's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose.
Also currently unemployed, in other words. What a coterie. Mr. Shamser. My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair, but a possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green.
Yes.
You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume?
Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man.
Come, lady, die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly pigment personage. Very well, let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? You ever go to the East End anyway? It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night of this man was poisoned, I was still in the hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Gerda household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
Struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamsier's lodging is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why. He would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened.
Oh, no. The incident 6 days ago. You want me to relive that awful incident?
Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamsier. But what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned. Or does it? Let us proceed then. The witness will present formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February. The evening of the 17th of February.
It was 6 days ago, about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings.
I was at the tavern at the eve of which thou speak, for I had bespoke my supper.
It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to the hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
Okay. Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume that this is a most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamsfair. 'Twas the following morn when I did awaken. I learned that of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine. When Sasaki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder, I suspected there was nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance, but I'm not so sure. Something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses, if you wish. Yes, my lord. Cool. The evening of the 17th of February. Okay, walking along the snow when I suddenly stabbed in the back. I don't think I need to press this, but I'll press it anyway. I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's awful. I believe I was unconscious for so long. I woke up to find the case had been solved and the culprit arrested.
Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening and should now be forgotten.
Yes, I suppose so. Thank you.
But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case.
Trouble is, there's nothing to tell really. I was just walking along the pavement.
To be just outside the house.
Hold it!
What were you doing there that day, though?
What do you mean?
The art school you attend, what's it called?
Oh, yes, it's the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, she's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, just some 10 stops away from the scene of the underground.
I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road, isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End?
Oh, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought it might make a nice picture.
No. What? The witnesses of student art, city-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas.
That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town.
Sure.
Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term.
The point is, she's definitely hiding something. Yeah, she was supposed to go to the restaurant.
Yes, it seems like she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth.
She's trying to hide why she was there that evening. Must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shamsphere, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing? Would be my pleasure, sir. Tavern.
Hold it!
That's going to be... Tavern, you say? Which one? That's where she was at. 'Twas the Slug and Salad, where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End. A little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks? The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. Ooh.
It's true, the menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water, different levels of cloudiness.
I would have expected grub scrubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that? How different can water really be?
Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation? Specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment?
Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. Mr. Shamsphere's own actions on that day of incidents ago were slightly suspicious. Wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. Not yet. Wish we did, but sadly I can't think of anything at the moment.
If I find a clue that explains why Mr. Shamsphere went there, he must present it to the court.
Yes, absolutely. If that's all on this matter, Counsel, I would like to ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement. Wait. It wasn't a letter, right? Okay, right.
Hold it!
What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
There's nothing really. There's nothing worth mentioning.
You remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital.
Ah.
It was related to the card you were holding. Miss Green! What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, "I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross."
Oh, well, what does that matter?
What?
This has nothing to do with Duncan.
Ah?
Excuse me.
Mr. Shamsphere, do you have something to share with the court? To be or not to be? That is the question. Ah, pray forgive me, the great bard's word springeth from within me, with ne'er thought. Don't tell me it's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Well, nay, sir. It was nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sir. My lodging fellows been rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours. Miss Green.
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong?
Card that mentioned before containing the note. Do you have it upon your person?
I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Before you dispose of it, the court would take it as evidence, please. Miss Green's card. Of course, that's what links Mr. Shamsphere and Miss Green. Ah. Wait, what does it say first? Found in Mr. Shamsphere's room. Aha. These have been ripped open rather roughly. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Ah! What is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen this exact same shape somewhere else.
Oh, you don't mean... rethinking this piece of evidence, Mr. Narrowed?
Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up.
Shing! It goes together perfectly. This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card.
Ah. Okay, they've been merged. Or were they merged? But what's in the note? I don't remember. Whatever. The screen and... okay, so they're both. It's Duncan Ross! Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green. Okay, here.
Hold it!
Fast forward until we get to the question. Mr. Shamsphere. Yes, sir. On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray if thou hast some purpose speakest. Very well, I'll present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad the next day, surely.
Take that!
Aw, damn it. Okay, I was right. The music didn't stop right away. I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord. Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. Reads... oh. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamsphere, your actions on the afternoon of Mr. Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Oh. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamsphere? Well...
Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes, Miss Green?
That card was delivered to me. Doesn't have anything to do with this old man, does it?
Well, you'd think so, so yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely...
My lord, may I?
Merely what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well then, you may amend your testimony to include details about the peculiar note.
This note was delivered to me at my address. It has nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Nope. Just gonna present this right away. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. And upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in the hospital.
Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me.
Yes, it's terrible. If it's all true, that is.
What do you mean?
Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's a torn off end of the envelope.
Oh, is it?
And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope that your note received.
Oh, where did you find that?
In Mr. Shamsphere's room. In my room? Mr. Shamsphere, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon following the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. But that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamsphere. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green?
Oh, what did I do?
As this torn off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamsphere's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession?
I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist, after all.
There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamsphere's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke... thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me? It would seem that both witnesses needs to testify again. Miss Green.
Yes?
Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind.
Yes, I know.
Ah. Very well then, witness. You will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. Witness testimony. The anomaly of the note. I do remember now that 'twas a week ago, per adventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. After on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished.
I don't know what you mean. Think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here. As for that torn off piece of envelope, I don't know anything about it.
You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamsphere? Faith, 'tis so, my lord, and I would swear to have set it upon my table in my humble lodgings. Yet, it is clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it. Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was...
A lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think I'm the one lying.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said. Fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to my address. Besides, we all know what the liar around here is.
That's true, Miss Green. How do you explain the facts? That this part of the envelope was without question found in Mr. Shamsier's room.
I don't see why I should explain.
Sorry?
I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is to just say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer.
The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Well, counsel? I'm ready, my lord. Very well then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witness.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamsier's room. There can be no question of that. That's how she acquired the note.
Yes, two facts are starting to lead me to a possible explanation of this. It's not a pretty one. Cross-examination. Anomaly of the note. So we could go... Press everything. And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sir, 'tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with the knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily, 'tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack, if the choices be betwixt I knew him and I knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I be forced to declare we by some small measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the Slug and Salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature? Mary, what will have the better of me, sir, save for the lure of curiosity? So 'tis true I was compelled by my own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet in the end my curiosity was not sated. On the day with... okay.
Hold it!
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sir. 'Tis as thou sayest. Really? Pause for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked me whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall. Really? You mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all? I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord. No, it is returning to me now. I did trip my lips to almost clear water and mine inwards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sure, flies. Good lord. In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, whither from the summer night's dream come to taunt me? I think they were just flies.
I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me?
No. Yes.
Hold it!
When exactly did you notice it had gone missing? Such idle thoughts now occupy my mind. I am busied with great ideas. In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval. Such idle thoughts now occupy my mind. I am busied with great ideas. And yet during that time Miss Green was comatose in hospital, was she not? Clearly, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamsier's room.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir?
You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by that note.
Oh.
I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that.
Oh, dear me.
What's Lord Van Zeek's getting at?
Hold it!
Seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamsphere's about a week ago.
Oh, does it?
But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. Can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shamsphere's lodgings.
Objection!
But for what reason would the witness have done that? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in the case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could only have come to be in possession of the note by stealing from Mr. Shamsphere's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing.
What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though?
Yes, you should pursue that idea, Mr. Arado.
Close now. I can feel it. We're so close to the breakthrough.
Hold it!
So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it?
But you're an artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters.
Introverted? Fie, this fledgling doth readily cast aspersions about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wing. Oh pity, wherefore dost accuse one so pure of heart and poor?
Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me could see you're just a failure.
Tragedy, thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee thou must wait so long and in vain.
Mr. Naruto, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine.
I'm no Shakespearean actor, Mrs. Sato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument
It's evidence, yes.
Oh, so I could have just presented something here.
It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shamsphere's room and that's where she found this letter.
Yes, two more or less forgotten conclusions that lead me to one terrifying conclusion.
Terrifying?
Yes, I'm afraid to say, the outcome of this cross-examination may well change how we look at this case completely. Oh wait, I did the wrong button. Get to the. Oh no, I can't. No! Press the button again! Okay, let's see. Percent. Why would I? Okay. Yeah.
Objection!
What? Damn it. How was that in her room then? Or why was that in his room? Oh man, I don't know. I keep pressing the wrong button! Okay. Oops.
Objection!
That's okay. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with the bottle. And though the contents spilled during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Shrom's chemistry said, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine. What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamsphere. Oh. Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings, for one reason or another, alone. To Cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamsier's room with poison. Can this be? You broke into my room, too. It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamsier's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dearie.
Order. Counsel, are you seriously suggesting that this woman put poison at the end of the gas pipe with an intent to kill? Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did indeed set the odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely. Well, that's a very good point. Perhaps not, my lord. Beg your pardon, huh? There was a significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zeeks.
And of course, the following morning there was more activity at Mr. Shamsier's address.
More activity? Yes. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested of suspicion of murder?
That's right. As the defense has already proposed. Mr. Shamsier was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very serious reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant.
But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamsier had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe, and his intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant.
And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again.
Right. Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end. The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back was duly acquitted. It resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out. Mr. Shamsier was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room for some 4 days earlier.
Mary!
With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan. What plan? The court will now recall that the notes gave instructions to visit the Slug and Cell at 5 o'clock. And the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear. To ensure the lodger would not be at home at the stated time.
To make sure I wasn't home.
Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed.
You mean to say that letter
was written by Miss Green, yes. In order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison all over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room. Oh shit.
Order. What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
We'll have to listen to what she has to say next time on the next episode. So don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. See ya. Bye.